Cody in the morning. WSM. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
So again, I ask, how do we look for 100? How do we look? Not a day over 95 or 96, Billy boy. At least you. Now, Kelly, not so much. Kelly Sutton is back, and that's a good thing. Annie Nye is our studio director. Jeff Roberts is in master control, and that fellow playing the role of Charlie Matos is Zach. The Zach attack is in full swing this morning. Zach,
I love it.
Zach Bennett is here. So It's great to have you all. If you're just joining us on television, circlecountry.com, where you can link to your favorite streaming platform when you get there, and all over the world on historic 100 years of WSM. And Friday is the official 100th birthday. Happened in November the 28th and 1925, and we've been on the air 6 weeks as a radio station. And the solemn old judge, George D. Hay, had an idea. Said, I'm going to bring in a drunken fiddle player and get him to tell stories and play old fiddle tunes and see how that goes over in Blue Blood, Nashville. and the Blue Blood said, get that off the air.
Everybody else loved it.
And then when they realized it wasn't going off the air, I said, well, at least keep it on at night. Don't put it on during the hours of regular cultured people. So
Nashville was very aristocratic at the time.
Oh, listen. Yes. Very elitist. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you went to New York.
I was in New York, yes.
And you got back late, didn't get a lot of sleep, had some delays and that kind of thing?
I think I actually put my head on my pillow at 1:30 this morning.
And you took your head off the pillow at
4:30. So cheers to that.
You're just getting to be lazy.
I really am. I really am.
3 hours on a morning show schedule?
It's great. I'm not really sure what I'm going to say today, but it's going to be good. Tune in.
We have, in addition to Kelly's entertainment, we'll get some headlines from the Assembly Food Hall acoustic desk this morning. Onoleigh is first up. Mm-hmm. She's going to join us this hour, and then Matt Warren next hour. Yeah. So hang on for that.
We got some friends coming in. Hey, coming up, we've got the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We beat them by 1 year. They're 99. We're 100. The 99th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is going to be happening with a lot of our friends. So I'm going to tell you who to look for on those parade floats because you'll see some of your favorites there. Garth Brooks is heading to London. It's a big show. And now we know who will be making the trek with him across the pond, which makes me want to go even more than I wanted to go before. And we've been talking about Megan Maroney and all the wonderful things that have been happening for her. Well, she decided to go swimming with the sharks. So I was like, music business makes you tough, doesn't it?
What could possibly go wrong?
Here's what I thought.
I do it every day on Music Row.
She's swimming with the sharks every day on Music Row. She's like, great white, whatever. I can handle that. So all that and more coming up. Entertainment headlines.
What was Pinkerton Bowden's great line? Music industry set to Islands in the Stream. That is what we are. We lie to each other and call each other brother. Music industry.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
From the Assembly Food Hall acoustic desk, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And we welcome Onoleigh. And she is a cornfield girl just like Kelly Sutton, except Kelly's Indiana and Onoleigh is Illinois. And you are headed there from here.
Absolutely.
To get whatever your mom makes that's better than any other mom makes in the world, which would be what? Onoleigh?
Chicken pot pie. That is our thing. We know our casserole. We know our pies.
Sure.
I would say that's where I'm at. So yeah, the car is packed. Got to grab the doggy, and we're headed back. So.
Do you have corn at every family gathering?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, my grandparents actually have a farm in Kankakee, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. You get it. And they grow the best sweet corn ever. And I'm not even just saying that. It's Illinois, super sweet. And yeah, it's hard to beat everywhere.
My dad has a farm, and then at the end of the crop, he'll go get it. My mom will sit and shuck all of it, and she'll put it in Ziploc bags and freeze it.
Yes.
And that way we just pull it out. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter.
Yes. Cream of corn casserole, everything.
Yep.
Everything you could think of, it's always corny.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I had corn tortilla soup from Chick-fil-A the other day.
Oh.
It is to die for.
Is this new?
Oh, my goodness. It is
That's
wonderful.
fancy.
Yeah.
Yummy, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
New menu item.
So I came across an article about you that said You first came to Nashville to visit, and you stood on stage at your very first honky tonk and sang Patsy Cline's Walking After Midnight.
Yes.
And at that moment,
Yes.
something happened.
Oh, something completely shifted. I think.
And where were you? Which honky tonk were you?
I was at
singing?
Rippy's down on Broadway.
Okay.
Oh,
Of course. Well, because again, I was 16, so that was one of the few I could actually get in.
Yeah.
A lot of them I was looking from the outside, But yeah, we bopped up there, and my dad threw some love in the jug, and I got up, and there was a moment definitely, I think, where I experienced something bigger than myself. Patsy Cline was my absolute favorite artist growing up. Which I think was a little more old soul than a lot of what my girlfriends were listening to. And so I finally found a place that kind of accepted that, and I rolled with it. And that was kind of, I'm going to move to Nashville when I get out of college, and I'm going to do the thing. And we did it. So here we are.
So you obviously were singing prior to coming for that Nashville visit.
I was dabbling and jumping around and doing musical and that kind of thing, but not in a capacity of professionalism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what was the first song that you remember hearing that made you want to sing when you were little? Because you started like performing when you were 16, coming to Nashville, right?
Definitely.
So what was the first song that you were like, I want to sing that in front of people?
Ooh, well, Walking After Midnight, again, that was the song. But I would say I was a huge Carrie fan. And I still am. But Carrie's like Jesus Take the Wheel, that whole album just changed my entire life. Yeah.
And it changed hers too, by the way.
Oh my gosh, of course. There's a reason. I mean, it was really that good,
Because that was her first album.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was huge. I mean, I remember getting my first CD. It was a Carrie Underwood CD and a little jukebox. And I would play that thing on repeat because, back then we didn't have streaming and all the things.
Sure.
So you really got to know every single song on the record, to its entirety. But
So to Kelly's credit, as we approach Thanksgiving tomorrow, a little earlier this morning on your way in, we played Carrie Underwood's Stretchy Pants.
She has a Thanksgiving song.
Stop.
One of the few.
Hillary Lindsay and who was the other?
Krista Stefano?
Yes, thank you. They were the writers.
Is it all about just eating so much?
Yes,
and
I got
eating
my
your
stretchy pants on. Yes.
You know what? Fitting. Super fitting, no pun intended. I feel like, or lack thereof, I feel like that's pretty good.
Yes. Unstructured pants, definitely the way to go. It is.
Well, tell us about Ovation. That's something that people need to know about in your life and the lives of fellow singers and musicians.
Yeah, so Ovation is very much a passion project. I'm so excited. I mentioned I went to college. I went to the University of Missouri. I got my degree in social work, actually, and I was totally set to be a middle school guidance counselor. Even though at 16 I experienced something bigger, I was like, is this really practical? All the things, all the voices in your head. And then I was telling my students every day to pursue what scared them the most, and I realized very quickly I was not doing that for myself. So I dropped everything. I said, we're going to do the Patsy Cline road, okay? And I came here, and now it's kind of been a full circle moment starting this showcase. Ovation is a nonprofit artist showcase here in town where my goal is to utilize iconic venues, this next one being December 1st at the Station Inn. We can chat about that. But then bringing up-and-coming and established artists together for different nonprofits all over the community that kind of
that's cool.
Gave us a platform.
So you move it around, Station Inn.
Yeah.
Next time it'll be someplace else.
Yes, the first one was at the East Room this past summer, and then this one will be at the Station Inn. And my goal is about 3 or 4 a year, and really just bringing the community together because this city gives so much to us as artists, and I think there's so many capacity and opportunities for artists to give back. And a lot of artists I speak to, want to give back. They want opportunities to do that. And so it's been a really amazing full circle moment for me to kind of bring the social work side of me of loving humans and then the music side of me on platform and things and watching it grow.
Well, that psychology you took in college comes in handy on Music Row, doesn't it?
Oh, let me tell you what. Yeah. People are like, how does it feel? Do you ever feel like you wasted 4 years? I said, honey, I use it more now than ever. You're kidding me.
Let me tell you.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
It is. It's all people. That's all it is.
So who are some of the friends that you've invited up and have shared the stage with you?
Yeah. So this next one is going to be the Dries. The Dries are fabulous. They're
Love
so
them.
great.
Yeah.
The Dries, Noah Guthrie, Abigail Rose, Peyton Porter, and then JP Burr. JP Burr is actually going to play guitar for me in the later segment. You'll hear me. But he's a great guitarist and also a fabulous artist too. So very excited for all their performances.
You know, when you were mapping this out and you decided I'm going to do the Patsy Cline route, did you have, year 1, we're doing this. Year 5, I'm going to be here. Year 10, did you map it out like that? Or was it just like, let's go and do the best we can and see where it takes us?
I think you can plan as much as you want in this industry, but it's always going to take you whatever way.
I just keep thinking like a guidance counselor, you're helping other people map out their future. Totally. That's what you were thinking you were going to do. So for yourself.
Yeah, it was definitely very different because you're absolutely right. My focus was always on other people. And for the first time, I jumped into an industry where it's all about you. And so that was extremely overwhelming at first. I remember being like, I don't actually know what I want. I mean, I want to do this and I want to love it, but it's been very much a soul searching process just as much as a music process. And now that I feel I kind of have that down, it's all coming together.
Who was the first celebrity you met?
Oh, Lordy. Well, Luke Bryan, I did meet. I met him in a coffee shop here in town, which was a crazy, again, Nashville experience.
See, that's what we're talking about. Those moments that you cannot plan for that to happen.
No,
is a part of your career.
Absolutely, and you can't explain it to anyone else. They're like, "What happened?" Because to us, it's so normalized here in town.
Sure.
Actually, a couple months ago, I was out in a big park out here, whatever, in probably a nicer neighborhood, and in my rearview mirror, I'm not kidding you, I saw Chris Stapleton on his bike. He was wearing a helmet, everybody, and his hair was flowing in the wind. And I was like, that is Nashville in a nutshell. Anyway, you'll never take those moments for granted, ever, And no one bothers him. He's just living his best life, you know?
I'm all of a sudden seeing Chris in a Geico commercial somewhere with his hair flying back.
It was so beautiful. It was almost in slow motion. It was actually a slow motion movement.
All I can hear is the Wicked Witch of the West, where it's and the hair's flying back.
So good.
Bottomless Tears is what we're going to feature first. Set this up for us. Original song, co-write?
Original song, yep.
Okay. All right. And where do we find your music? Where would you recommend?
Oh, all over any streaming platform. Spotify, Apple Music, all of them.
And it's Onoleigh.
It is.
Onoleigh is all over the world on WSM Radio's Coffee, Country, and Cody, WSM, and Circle Country Television.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
More with Onoleigh from the Assembly Food Hall acoustic desk this morning. A live performance is coming. Got to see and hear Bottomless Tears all over the world on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television a little bit ago. Tell me the Chris Jansen story about getting to open for him. Was that in your hometown?
Yes, it was phenomenal. So it was actually in my hometown, in Mahomet, Illinois, which is about 3 hours south of Chicago.
What's the population?
Oh my golly, now it's probably about 8,000.
Okay.
But when I lived there, it was like 2,000. So we've grown a lot. We have a Starbucks now.
Oh,
my parents just told me we have a Taco Bell, which is out of control. Okay.
Listen, can't hide progress.
That's what I mean, y'all. Like, you guys don't even understand.
My wife is addicted to the Cantina chicken salad.
Oh, my Lord. You can't go wrong.
With the verde sauce, by the way.
Of course.
That's what, yes.
That's the special.
Nice.
You've gotten it for her a handful of times. I hear this. Okay.
She's been on a roll like 3-4 days a week.
Not too bad, get in there.
You know how you get those cravings and it's like, I'm eating this every day and I don't know why.
Totally. You gotta jump in. But anyway. That was the thing that definitely put us on the map. And I always tell people that I grew up in a small town, but they go back, like my band will go back and we'll stay there on our way to Chicago. They're like, Onoleigh, this is not a small town. I'm like, you didn't see it then. You didn't.
You didn't know what it looked like.
So what were the circumstances with Chris and getting to know him?
So basically, we have this fantastic music festival every single year. And I actually grew up going to this music festival. And that's actually how I met JP over here. JP was playing with an artist as direct support, and I was the indirect support at the time. And I got to open for Chris, and his live show is absolutely unheard of. He's a performer, he's an entertainer.
Yes, he is.
And he actually came up on the Broadway circuit, I was told. And so there are definitely a lot of those kind of commonalities with putting on a show. And I mean, he had the whole cornfield in the palm of his hand, so it was great. Very cool.
He's from Perryville, Missouri, and that's where you went to school, so that explains a lot.
Same cloth, yes.
So who did you start writing with? I always find that fascinating when people come to town, you find your group, and they said, when you find your group, you know it, and then you start to write with people, and it feels more comfortable, and it's no more sitting in a room staring at somebody that you don't know.
Absolutely.
So how did you find your people?
Oh, that is a big question. I feel like I first got to town. His name is actually Teddy Morgan, and he works over at a creative studio. And he was super gracious. I mean, me just being this, again, fresh out of guidance counseling, right? Coming in being like, let's write some music. Because I didn't write music before I came to town. That is like the craziest, I think, unique story. A lot of people were writing their entire lives and all of that. And I really stumbled upon it. And I said, well, I have something to say now. I'd have to figure out how to say it. And he was great. We would write, oh my gosh, 6-7 times a week. And a lot of the songs were just, I look back on them and yikes. But some of them really, shaped where we go. And you learn, I think, also by playing the Broadway circuit at the time is kind of how I jumped directly in. You're singing the hits every single night. And so you're able to kind of start identifying what makes a hit, what doesn't. What kind of vocal range do I have? What genre specifically? All of the nitty gritty. So all of the things kind of came together, and you start finding your songwriters that feel the same way. And yeah, almost 7 years later, here we are, and I feel like we have a pretty good hold.
Have you been able to support yourself with music all the way, or have you had to have other jobs?
So the last 2 years are the first years that I quit all my side hustles, and I said, I have got to make it in music or die trying. Okay.
And what were some of the side hustles?
So I worked at a candle company here in town.
Okay.
And I would teach people how to make custom candles, and I pour candles. And the joke was always, is Onoleigh here? And they're like, no, but if she was, you'd smell her, because I'd come in with like 45 different fragrances at the same time. It sounds awesome until you get headaches at work, lots going on.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of different mixes. It's not like
definitely.
one. Okay.
Definitely. But, and then of course I was, in the wait staff world, and I was great at that. I loved it. It was a rush. But other than that, yeah, I really have solidified and focused on just full music and just hustling through it.
So where do you meet John Oates and Nathan Chapman and folks like that along the way in your journey?
Yeah, they've been phenomenal mentors. Again, it's just kind of all about who you know in town. I think the legends out here, we have to truly listen to them. We have to recognize that they did it all before we were even
good for you.
a thought.
Because not everybody recognizes
No, I think
that.
there's such a reverence that's so important about the history. I mean, exactly where we're sitting right outside the Grand Ole Opry, there is so much life that has happened here. And I think you're right. I think by people coming in here and not recognizing that, I think you miss out on a lot of potential energy that can kind of facilitate through. So I'm huge on kind of meeting the greats, learning from their stories. They'll tell you exactly what not to do as well if you listen.
Sure.
And so there's so much beauty in that. And so I've been extremely lucky in my career to kind of be a sponge and hopefully be able to be one of those that can guide, the future as well. So definitely.
Onoleigh is our special guest, JP on guitar. So what have you chosen to sing live?
Yeah, so this is my most recent single. This is called Never Beg a Man. And it's exactly what it sounds, because we don't beg for love. This is kind of a new era for me, is kind of knowing who you are and your self-worth and not expecting anything less than that. And so when I wrote it, actually, I wasn't feeling very confident. And now it is kind of turned into this mantra of we don't expect anything less. So kind of crazy how a song shapes your mind. And we're going to sing it for you today.
All right. Onoleigh is here. Onoleigh has got her Motown groove on in this studio this morning.
That's so good.
Thank you for noticing that. I love the soul music, the country world. That was my little soul baby.
Oh, that was a groove.
Thank you very much.
Love that. Never Beg a Man. Mm-hmm. And you have a version of Oh Holy Night just in time for the holidays that I think came out last week.
I do,
Wanted
yes.
to point that
I'm
out.
so excited. This is the first time I've ever released holiday music on digital platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got Oh Holy Night, phenomenal, if I do say so myself. And I had Please Come Home for Christmas as well. So we kind of put those out together. So if you guys want to check it out, please do. I'm super proud. It's very stripped down. We actually did them live. So that is what happened in the room is what you hear on the record, which is always fabulous.
And we talked about your hosting Ovation before you go. Give that one more plug for December 1st.
Yes, December 1st at the Station Inn. Heck of a lineup. The beneficiary is actually the Musicians on Call. Yeah. So they bring live music to healthcare facilities all over the country, especially around the holidays when they can't be home. So I think it's extra important. But yeah, come on out, support. It's $20 at the door, cash, first come, first serve. Yeah, experience a night of old Nashville. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, and that's Monday the 1st, December 1st, Station Inn. Onoleigh, a pleasure, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Safe
you so
travel
much.
to you.
Thank you.
All right, we continue. Kelly Sutton Entertainment on Coffee, Country, and Cody. And I was just thinking, as I heard him, when was the last time you did something for the last, how does it go?
Last time you did something for the first time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, we're doing this for the first and last time, all in one night. 100 years of the Grand Ole Opry, 7 and 10 o'clock Friday. That is this Friday, Black Friday after Thanksgiving tomorrow.
So get up early, go buy a bunch of stuff, hang out in the mall parking lot, come see us. We are going to have fun things that are happening here. You can peek in. You guys are going to be doing interviews here. I've got red carpet interviews. Then we've got a show. And then we've got a live stream in between the shows. And then we've got another show.
And that's you and Mark Wills.
We'll go past midnight.
Yeah. Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right.
So gear up, friends. It's going to be a long night.
Friends,
We're taking
friends and neighbors.
We're taking it right into Saturday.
And you might not even know this, but then you go right into Y'all Access on WSM overnight Saturday.
Fantastic. If you want more of me, tune in.
Right after the Opry. Right?
Enough about me. Enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Okay.
What do you think about me?
I have to tell you, we saw Death Becomes Her. We just came back from New York and we saw 3 different musicals while we were there.
Yeah.
And we saw Death Becomes Her. Oh my gosh, it is so funny. And at one point she said, "Look at you." And the other girl goes, "Look at you. Look at you. Okay, let's look at me." That is so. Yes, let's talk about me. Let's talk
Can
about
I run
Macy's.
the alphabetical list
Do
real
it.
quick?
Yeah, we got 20 plus people coming.
About 25, I
These are
think.
the people that RSVP'd.
And Trace Atkins, Bill Anderson, Mandy Barnett, Susie Boggess, T. Graham Brown, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Henry Cho, John Conley, Daly and Vincent, the Gatlin Brothers, Vince Gill, the Isaacs, Jamie Johnson, Dustin Lynch, Kathy Mattea, Charlie McCoy, Scotty McCreary, Gary Muledeer, that's Lori Morgan, Riders in the Sky, and Ricky Skaggs, Don Schlitz, Connie Smith, Marty Stewart, Pam Tillis, the Whites, and Mark Wills.
Plus special guests that decide to drop in.
Yes.
If we were having Thanksgiving, it would be fun to assign all of those people different things. Jamie Johnson would bring the cups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we would
It's always the cousin that you're like, you can bring the cups. And then the other one is like, you could bring some ice. We need some more ice. So those are the 2.
I think we put Jamie at the little
kids-
card table,
kids'
at the kids' table. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it would be such a great photo op.
I feel so seen right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm the ice guy.
You're the ice guy?
I'm the ice guy.
My other favorites are you can bring the rolls,
Yeah.
but I have to tell them Sister Schubert's rolls, and you have to get them in the
Good
brown,
call.
the brown
Sister
and surf.
Schubert's, that's where it's at.
It's
Yeah.
best. And then sweet tea. You can also bring the sweet tea.
Okay.
But I prefer Milo's, so there you go. All right. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. We got a lot of things to talk about. Also, this was really a proud moment. If you were looking at who has been Googling Thanksgiving recipes, they had a nationwide picture of the places that have most Googled Thanksgiving recipes, and the South, nobody. And they said, notice the South knows what we're doing, ... So most of us are okay. For everybody else, the Butterball hotline will be in full effect. I have called it before, 1-800-Butterball. They're there to help you all day. If you haven't already thawed the turkey, well, good luck. There are some fast thaw recipes on there. Don't make your family sick. Go online, get what you need. Figure it out. Also, you can watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's going to be happening 8:30 in every time zone. So no matter where you are, 8:30, turn it on. You'll watch Thanksgiving's Day Parade. This is the 99th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
And the first one was in Philadelphia, we learned yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
1920, so 105 years ago, the tradition.
For Philadelphia.
The tradition started. That
That's
we
crazy.
Could carry on in different cities.
Macy's New York Thanksgiving Day Parade tomorrow. You're going to see some of your friends there, some of our favorites. Drew Baldridge is going to be on a float with Mickey Guyton. They're going to be performing their new song from our new Hallmark movie, which absolutely premieres on Saturday night. Don't forget about that. Hallmark
Starring
Channel.
Kelly Sutton, I might add. I want to throw that in. Don't be modest.
Cameo. I'll be there. Now watch, I'll get cut out of the whole thing. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm like, I talk about it, and then I'll probably won't be there.
watched that movie, and I never did see it.
I saw. Was that the back of your head? I saw you walk across the stage one time. But it is going to be happening. So, Grand Ole Opry Christmas Saturday. You can tune in 8:00 on Hallmark, 7:00 Central, and then the next day it's on Hallmark Plus, so you can watch it there. But we're going to have our 2 stars are going to be on a float as well, Nikki DeLoche and Chris Palaha. Then other people that we know and love will be connected to all of these big floats as well. You can be watching Gavin DeGraw. He's going to be there. Colby Calais will be on one of the floats. You don't know which floats they're going to be on until you just see them. They don't even know. I mean, I think somebody was on the Jolly Green Giant float last year or the year before, and they were like, I had no clue. So maybe it was Dasha. Make sure that you're watching for that. Garth Brooks, Hyde Park, London, June 2026. Be there. It's going to be a big deal. He is going to be headlining London's BST Hyde Park Summer Festival in June. First time back in 30 years. We now know Ashley McBryde and Zach Brown Band are going to be on that bill as well. Tickets are already on sale and they are going quick. So if you want to go see him in London, that is the time to do it. Get your tickets now. I think that Trisha might be making that trek with him. And Riley Green says, family's coming to town. I got you covered. Go get some of my new bourbon. Duck Club bourbon for all your family needs this Thanksgiving holiday.
By the way, if you haven't kept up with Riley Green, you will not have turkey. You will not have ham. You will have duck.
That's right.
Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're back to wrap it up.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody, live from the Assembly Food Hall acoustic desk.
And Kelly and Billy and Zach and Annie and Jeff welcoming Matt Warren to the studio. This is hallowed ground, buddy, and I know you know it, appreciate it as a local more than anybody, that Mr. Acuff's living room is the studio in which you sit this morning.
Unbelievable.
Look at that smile, Kelly.
When we were in the green room, I was like, I was going to tell you who was on the wall because we have the big mural. I was like, oh, he knows who that is. That's Mr. Acuff. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a huge music history buff, but especially the stuff that's from here, my hometown, Nashville.
So you would have grown up going to the park, Opryland, USA?
Oh, big time.
And Mr. Acuff was the ambassador. So.
Absolutely. I as a kid, that's what you wanted. For Christmas, you would ask for an Opryland pass.
Yeah.
And I can remember back in those days, your parents would just drop you off at the park, and they'd come get you, and you'd hang out with your friends.
I know, unbelievable.
Screaming Delta Demon was one of my favorites, and the Flume Zoom. And, I couldn't do the cups, the cups that spun around and circles. I was like, I'm good with that.
And of course, the Wabash Cannonball.
The Wabash Cannonball. And my main goal was to go over and guess the speed of the. You throw the baseball because if you guess your speed, you get to have the hard hat. You get the baseball. And I always wanted either the Nashville Sounds or the New York Yankees. So.
That's pretty cool.
I remember the Old Mill Scream. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Popped into my head as you were giving those old ride names. And the Thin Lizzies.
Oh, the Thin Lizzy was fantastic.
Yeah, man.
And do you remember Chaos?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chaos. And I ended up writing songs for a publisher. The company was called Onoleigh, and the guy that started it, he invented Dippin' Dots. And Dippin' Dots were there at the entrance of the Chaos because the line was so long. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he invented Dippin' Dots. And Dippin' Dots were originally, he had invented this small little frozen tiny balls, because they used them to transport kidneys and body parts from hospital to hospital.
Organ donors.
Organ donors. And so he had the thought, he said, what if I changed a couple ingredients out, put some sugar and some flavor in there, and that's how Dippin' Dots came to be. And and at the publishing company, when you'd walk in the front door, he had a huge freezer and had all these like experimental flavors. And so I lived on Dippin' Dots when I wrote for Onoleigh.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of writers and artists who've lived on a lot less.
You got that right.
I mean, you covered all the big rides that were here, but were you watching the shows as well when they had all the big shows with all of
the
our
Chevy
friends?
Chio theater? I think the one show that I remember particularly was Ronnie Millsap. My grandfather, my grandmother from White House in Gallatin.
Okay.
And they loved. I think my grandfather told me my great grandfather Homer Warren played that upright piano and kind of boogie woogie, and so my grandfather loved like blues and bluegrass and boogie woogie, and he loved Ronnie Millsap. And so I remember they made sure, because I was always trying to get out of going to the shows back then because I wanted to be on the rides.
Of course.
But my grandfather said, "You're coming to Ronnie Millsap. You won't regret it." And so I remember that show. And then, of course, my mother went to Hendersonville High School, and she went to school with Carlene Carter. And, I mean, there's just so many connections with country music, you know. And my grandfather knew String Bean. And
String Bean and Nestdale. Wow.
That is crazy.
So did you grow up in Gallatin or in Nashville?
So I was born at the old Memorial Hospital right there in Madison.
There's a blast from the past.
Right. So I was born there, grew up in Goulitsville, and then we moved to Hendersonville. We kept going, then Gallatin by the time I was in the 8th grade. Dad wanted to have a place closer to the lake, you know, with some land, but I never lived in Nashville proper, but I was born in Davidson County, and so Goulitsville on up.
And then you went to MTSU?
MTSU, went to University of Tennessee at Knoxville for 1 year. My grades were good, but they weren't good enough for my dad. And he said, if you want me to pay, we need to have this. And so I didn't have that, and so I actually signed a deal with a agency called Crescent Moon Talent on Music Row, and they basically booked frat houses in the SEC.
Got it.
And so when that happened, I bailed on the Tennessee thing, and we started playing all these cool frat gigs. That's where I got the bug, if you will, to do music. And when that band fell apart, I decided, I was like, you know, I've got to have a college degree just in case. And so I ended up I did Vol State for 2 years, and then ended up going to MTSU and graduating from there.
You're an ACM Song of the Year award winner. You've had a great connection to Gary Allan, and that particular song that won you the award was Every Storm Runs Out of Rain.
Well, we were nominated. We didn't win, but we were nominated. And I learned that from Win Varble when you're on stage. And you're like, well, this next song I'm going to play it was nominated for ACM Song of the Year. And that's how you know it didn't win, is when someone says my song was nominated for Song of the Year.
Listen, but you can always say it, and man,
you can always say it.
People don't remember the ACM. Okay,
of course.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
That's right.
I thought I saw where it won.
You were in the building.
That was.
You know what? Then that's what we'll.
That's what you go with.
And that was.
I'll be your publicist. I'll tell you how to write it.
This will blow your mind. That was 2014.
2014.
That's been 11 years ago.
Mind-blowing how fast time moves.
So how did you and Gary get to know each other?
Cat
is one of the most unique and wonderful voices in this industry.
Absolutely. So the Goulitsville tie, my parents my dad went to Goulitsville High School with Terry and Sherry Colon, and the Colones own Richards and Southern, and they do a ton of merchandise Alabama was their first big act that they had. That's how they built their company. But I was waiting tables in Rivergate at Chili's, and Terry and Sherry came in. They said, "What are you doing this summer?" And I said, "Well, I'm home from school and not sure if I'm going to go back. I'm kind of playing a little music." And they said, "Well, why don't you come out and sell some merch for one of our country acts?" And I thought, go on tour? Do I get to ride in a tour bus? They're like, oh yeah, you sleep in the bunk, you get a per diem, you get paid. And they said, well, come into the office on Monday, and we've got a couple acts you can choose. And when I got there to Richards and Southern, they said you can pick Gary Allan or Rascal Flatts. And I said, strangely enough, I really didn't listen to a lot of pop country at that time. So I said, I don't know what a Rascal Flat is. I'll just go with Gary Allan. And so.
And you know what? All these years later, they don't know what they are either.
My favorite blooper ever, because I did TV news forever, and we were doing an interview with them, and our weather guy could not get Rascal Flatts out of his mouth, and he kept saying Flascal Rats. And to this day, every time I'm getting ready to introduce them, I have to mentally say Rascal Flatts,
because you're going to say it.
Rascal Rats, everybody.
Well, new EP from our special guest, Matt Warren, is here on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television. First thing, and you're going to play live here in just a little bit, we're going to feature Long Story, so I'm assuming this is either a solo write or a co-write on your part, right? Yeah?
Correct.
All right.
Yep. Co-write. And we wrote the song. I wrote it with Nicole Whit and Skip Black, and we actually wrote this song because I came in, I had signed a new publishing deal, and I really wanted to approach songwriting from a different space that I had in years past. I was always trying to write for me because I'd had all this success with Gary Allan. He just loved what I did, so the only thing I knew to do was to be me and then have a publisher figure out where it would go. And so Skip came in and he said, I've got this in with Jelly Roll, and why don't we try to write something for him? He's looking, but none of us are from Nashville. He's from Nashville. You're from Nashville. We need some
Local
color
blood,
in this song. You can help us write this. And so we end up writing this song, and they kind of put a beat on it and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I didn't necessarily like the way that the demo was, but all of my friends and family were listening to it going, this is really good. And then so I started playing it out live just because it was pretty easy to play, and people loved it. And then when I went in to make this new record, my producers said, that long story thing is pretty cool. And I said, well, there's a few lines in there that aren't me because we're trying to write it for Jelly. And they said, well, since when does an artist have to be everything that's in the song? And interestingly enough, a big part of my story was in 2019, I got sober, and my brother is still struggling. And so when we started to cut this song, I thought, oh my gosh, this song's really for my brother. Because, sometimes art imitates life, or life imitates art. And
much closer to home than you realized.
Much closer to home than I realized. And then it made it sealed the deal for me. I was like, oh, yeah, we're cutting this, because I'd never really written a song for my brother. And so that's kind of how Long Story came to be.
Matt Warren is here on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Great to have Matt Warren, a unicorn, if you will, in the studio this morning with the great songwriting and singing success that he's enjoyed, not only personally, but with folks like the Opry's Darius Rucker, Robert Randolph and Family, which is a complete departure from what we know with Gary Allan and the country stuff.
Yep.
Jake Hoot, more recently.
Yep.
Don't you love Jake Hoot?
He
He's
is
the sweetest man.
The sweetest man, super kind, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better dude than him. And
He is so sincere.
So sincere. And what you see is what you get. He's the same when he gets up as when he's going to bed.
And then
He's the real deal.
Nashville Songwriter Hall of Famer now, we can say, Jim Lauderdale.
Jim Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Man, that was, I got to meet Jim through Gary Allan. Jim and Gary are really tight, and he's just such a unique and super cool guy, and so funny. Most people don't know that Jim went to clown school, and
I can see that.
Yeah, and he's such an interesting guy and very funny, and he's just so respected by so many musicians over many genres, not just country.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I got tickled when you got here this morning. You were referencing your grandmother and how you knew you had made it in the eyes of your grandmother, and it wasn't because you had an ACM nomination for Song of the Year.
Nope. No, being natives here in Nashville, my household watched Demetria Kaladimas and Dan Miller.
Oh, yeah.
And, Channel 4.
Rudy Kalis.
Rudy Kalis. Bill Hall would come to Gallatin High School during pep rallies. That was a really big deal. And so we were, that was back when it was 2, 4, and 5. And and then 17 was the dial. I was the remote control, and so those were like
and that's where Kelly wound up.
Yeah,
I was at 17, and then at 4, bounced around for a minute.
Those were literally like the program. Like they weren't just news; that was the shows we were watching. So
they were family.
They were family.
In a way. Yeah.
They were family. So I remember when I first started having some success, I guess it was the Channel 5 did a segment on Every Storm Runs Out of Rain, and they interviewed me and Hillary Lindsey, and like I said, I had a few other awards that I had won, but it was at that time my grandparents finally believed in me, and they're like, I think he's got a shot to do this. He was on Channel 5.
Listen,
Doesn't matter that I was up for you know,
You already had a gold record at that
already
point.
had gold records. I bought a,
Sure.
a 1999 Yukon with my first single. Paid cash for it at the used car lot. Which my grandfather, who worked at the Ford glass plant in West Nashville, I was so happy. I pulled up at Thanksgiving to show my granddad and my dad, who also worked for Ford. I pull up at Thanksgiving. I've got this brand new 99 Yukon that I've paid cash for, and I pull up and I said, "Papa, come look at my car." And he walked out on the porch and he just looked at it and he goes, "How come you didn't buy Ford?"
Oh,
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, that's a Chevrolet product. I knew that
Probably
was
would have
coming.
said we would have got you the friends and family, but you didn't go to the Ford dealership. So
Well,
there you
Boy,
go.
you remember brand loyalty like that, though? Ford families, Dodge families, Chrysler
Chevy, yeah.
families.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was
Chevrolet.
and so my mother's father was the lead mechanic at Jim Reed. So I was like,
Oh, wow.
Oh.
and my family's also diehard Tennessee Vols, but my grandmother had a soft spot in her heart for Vanderbilt, and I have a picture to prove this. When I'd get in trouble at her house, they'd sit me in the Vandy chair.
Oh.
That was how I knew I was in trouble.
Well, it's good to be in the Vandy chair these days.
I'm having a hard time dealing with this. I mean, they got a good team.
They do. They do.
Well, I know you're going to play for us live here. Give us a little setup to what you've decided to do in this live segment.
I'm going to play a song that my friend Carrie Ott and I wrote. I recorded it on a record that I've had in the past, but it's just one of my favorite songs to play. And even Gary even cut it on his record, and so I'm. You want me to play it?
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
do.
it.
And Heartbreak Superstar, by the way, is his new EP.
Yes, it is.
And where do we find you? I know we were talking about socials off the air.
You can find me at. There were so many Matt Warrens that I had
bet.
to. It's at
I know
the
another
Matt Warren
I know another Matt Warren, by the way.
that leads worship at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there's a Matt Warren with Farmer Finds a Wife.
Yeah,
You're the Matt Warren.
I'm the Matt Warren.
I'm the Kelly Sutton, so I get it.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there.
Right. It's good.
I can feel the Muscle Shoals years kicking in there, Hoss.
Come on, for sure.
That's a big part of your story. Rick Hall.
Yep.
What, 20 plus years ago?
20 plus years ago, Rick Hall was in Gallatin visiting his son Mark Hall out in Douglas Bend, pulled into a gas station to re-up on fuel, and the guy working behind the counter at Foxland Market in Gallatin was in my band, and he was playing our CD. And Rick said, "What are you listening to?" And said, "Well, this is my band." And he said, "Who's that singing?" He said, "It's my buddy Matt." He said, "Did you write the songs?" He said, "No, Matt wrote them." He said, "Do you care if I take that CD home and go listen to it, and then I'll bring it back?" And so they went to Mark's house and they listened to it and brought it back. I had my phone number in the sleeve. And Mark called me the following day and said, "Come meet with us on Music Row. We'd like to talk to you about a publishing deal." I didn't even know what that was at the time. And I
But
said,
you
"Sure."
soon found out.
Soon found out, came down there. He offered me a publishing deal. I didn't even take the contract to a lawyer. I pretty much signed it on the spot, and the rest is history.
Wow.
He was a jewel. He was
was
a
a jewel.
taskmaster,
And
but he was a jewel.
He was a taskmaster, but I kind of got him there toward the end, his softer years.
Ah.
It was so nice to me, believed in me, and was really funny. My stories that I have of Rick were funny.
Well, Kelly, this has been delightful,
It
hasn't it?
has been an incredible, incredible morning. So everybody can keep up with you. The Matt Warren.
That's right, the Matt Warren.
That's where they find you.
That's where they can find me.
Where are you going to be playing if we can come see you?
I'm playing December the 17th at the Bluebird.
Okay.
With D. Vincent Williams, and I'm also playing with Trent Tomlinson. He'll be there. And then I'll be down in Columbia at Puckett's with Dylan Altman and the great Pat McLaughlin.
Ooh.
The very next night on December 18th.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming to see us this morning.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. This has been a total honor. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a homecoming family reunion, just perfect for Thanksgiving Eve.
That's right.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.